15, I will go ahead and get the recording going and go ahead and say hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Sellers, and I am the Assistant Director for Regional Engagement with NC State's Alumni Association. We are so excited today to be partnering with Wellness and Recreation. I believe this is our final program of our New Year's resolution series, and today we will be hearing about how to succeed in your resolution to move more. And so without further ado, I'm going to hand the reins on over.
All right, very cool. Well, hello everybody. My name is Tremaine Lee, and I'm the Assistant Director of Wellness with Wellness and Recreation. And it is a pleasure being back. You all are actually my first presentation since I'm returning from paternity leave. I've been out since December, so I'm literally hopping straight back in. So thank you all for having me today. And I'm hoping that we can give you some really valuable information and resources that you can use. So if you have any questions, there'll be some interactive moments throughout. Hey, Janice. There'll be some interactive moments throughout where I'll ask you to drop some things in the chat. But bear with me as I only have a single screen. And so I'm going to try to get this thing started. So let me share my screen. Andrea, can you turn my screen sharing ability on?
Absolutely. Let me see about participant or make.
All right, cool. I think that's
Should
it.
allow you.
Make sure. All right, I think you all can see something. Can everybody see Move Well? Okay, very cool. All right, awesome. So I know that with this series, we have done two previously, and I believe that was Eat Well and Sleep Well. That's correct, right, Andrea?
That's correct. And we also did read more with the library.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Well, very good. So that's an addition to what we had talked about. That's pretty cool. And so I guess I will be wrapping up the series with Move Well, which I think this is always something that we all can do better, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic. There's enough stress, especially even when you look at just being mindful and always looking at our screens and being plugged into screens. I know there's always been a big push to reduce that, and so moving well can absolutely help you with those things. But before I get started, I want to make sure I go over just some Zoom ground rules as we do with all of our sessions. And so try to keep your microphone muted. If you do have a question, you can always drop it in the chat box. So we always ask you to use that chat box feature. But for me, because I cannot see it because I do not have dual screens, you can unmute yourself and talk if you need to, if I'm not looking at the chat. So just want to put that out there. You can always raise your hand too, but yeah, use that chat feature because I'm looking at the PowerPoint. I mean the microphone muted feature. So ground rules, always, try to be fully present while you're here during the sessions. Always respect the floor. So if somebody says something that you don't necessarily agree with, it's okay. Don't yuck somebody's yum if they like to do something that you may not. It's okay. And that's something that Alexis used to always say. She's one of the former wellness coordinators with our group. And so, yeah, I just really like that saying. And then allow others to engage. So without further ado, let's go over some objectives for the session. And so essentially, today we want to outline ways that can allow you to kind of really create a sustainable lifestyle changes when it comes to your physical activity. We want to make sure that you have the tools necessary to really do that. We also want you to kind of learn the components of what is consistent when it comes to a well-rounded personal fitness program. And I know oftentimes, we get in the ideal or the habit that we want to work out, but sometimes we're missing those vital components that can really benefit us, especially from like long-term injury and things like that. So learning how to work out in a healthy way. And then lastly, want you to go over and review the resources that are here at NC State University, especially with wellness recreation. And I know you probably can see a little bit, but the new building is behind me, and it is beautiful. So if you get a chance to come to the campus, please check it out. We would love to have you visit. I know Janice has seen it because she's right here, but we want you all to make sure you really can explore that and really enjoy that. So let me know if you can hear this video. This is just kind of going over what we've done since the pandemic, because we want you to feel safe if you're using our facility. And so this is just a video to kind of go over that. So hopefully you can hear it.
Wellness and recreation is ready for you. Our number one priority is to keep you safe and healthy. Physical distancing is key, and we implemented the think and do attitude by spreading equipment throughout the Wellness and Recreation Center and Carmichael Gym, limiting the number of users at any given time, and building private workout pods. We are fully stocked up on gym wipes, hand sanitizer, and disinfectant spray to help keep you safe during your next workout. We ask that face coverings be worn at all times in the building during your visit. And finally, we are encouraging all users to register for their workout up to 1 day ahead of time on the Wellness and Recreation app. We will close fitness spaces throughout the day for deep cleaning and sanitation. Don't worry, there will always be at least one space open. Be sure to visit wellrec.ncsu.edu for updates, including updated hours of operation and virtual programming opportunities. Remember, it is up to all of us to protect the pack. We cannot wait to have you back.
Well, awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video, just kind of outlining what we've done. So, yeah, we've made a lot of changes and just a lot of routine to try to make this as safe as possible when it comes to the experience of working out at your university facility. And I do not want to play that again. So before we get really started into it, let's kind of loosen up a little bit with a quick movement break. And what I'll try to do is I'll slide my camera back just a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing, and I'll actually lower it for the second portion of it. And so what I want to have you all is kind of start with some light stretching to loosen you up, relieve a little bit of stress. I know oftentimes we're sitting at our desk or sitting around looking at the computer, and so what I want to do is kind of take a break from that for a little bit and really try to kind of warm up and give yourself just a little bit of looseness and vibrancy before we jump into it. And so the first thing I want you to start off is with some arm circles. Let's kind of get this moving. We're going to start off by going forward. And so we're going to go about 10 times. Awesome. Now reverse and go backwards. Yeah. Awesome. Now I want you to bring your left arm and you're going to cross over and you're going to pull your right arm up and kind of lay it right there at that elbow junction, a little bit closer to your tricep. And I just want you to kind of hold that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax. I want you to come over, switch arms. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want you to switch arms. You're gonna go left arm, pull your left arm behind your head, hit that tricep stretch. Switch it over. Relax. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, we all kind of type a lot. We use our hands a lot. So we're going to stretch out those hands a little bit. I want you to take one hand forward, Take this hand and I want you to pull your fingers back. And you're gonna hold that for about 10 seconds. And this is really great, especially those that may have some elbow pain because of nerves. There's a nerve that typically runs from the ring finger to the pinky finger. And this is a really nice stretch to kind of help out with that. Switch over. And relax. So we're going to do a little bit of neck movement at this time. So I want you to go chin to chest. And I want you to exhale as you're at your chin to chest. And then we're going to roll to your right shoulder. Roll, exhale. Go to your left, inhale. We're going to do about 3 of these. Roll back to your right. Chin to chest. Rolling to the left. Chin to chest. This is the last set. Into the left. Very good. All right, so now we're gonna do a little bit of cat action. Want your feet flat down on the ground, and then you're gonna have your hands essentially just resting on your thighs. And we're gonna take a deep breath in. When we take that deep breath in, I want you to raise your chest, raise your chin up, and then you're just gonna take that, and then you're gonna exhale, and then we're gonna go into a cat movement and stretch out our back. Inhale, bring your chest high. Exhale into the cat. Inhale, chest high. Exhale into the cat. And we'll do this one more time. Inhale, chest high, chin up. Exhale into our cat. And you should have felt some spinal lengthening with that. All right, last movement. Let me bring the computer down a little bit. All right. So I want you to pull your right leg up, your ankle resting right there on your knee. I want you to support your right knee with your hand. And I want you to inhale. Similar movement, but when we exhale, I want you, instead of doing a cat, don't roll your body because it changes the stretch, but I want you to hinge and lean forward a little bit. Come back. Inhale. Exhale and hinge. Inhale up. Exhale and hinge. All right, inhale and switch legs. All right, so this should be your left leg across your right. Make sure you support that knee. Take a deep breath in. And pivot, exhale. And you should feel that in your glute. We sit down a lot, our hips get tight. Go ahead and inhale. And exhale. Our glutes get tight, our hips get tight. Especially sitting down at computers all the time, or we're sitting watching TV. All those things that aren't necessarily the best for us, but we have to endure sometimes. Inhale. And exhale and pivot or hinge. And inhale and relax. That was our movement break. So I hope you all enjoyed that. I put together just kind of thinking about us kind of just sitting down during this time period and thinking about what my chiropractor often says. And so I'm like, let's do something to kind of loosen that area up. And so kicking it off, new year, new me. That's typically always what everybody kind of starts off their year thinking like, what are going to be my resolutions? What do I want to accomplish this year? And it's super important to, we always kind of want to put fitness or, some type of physical activity incorporation of that as our primary goal. And so I'm very curious. Have you created any, resolutions related to fitness or your physical activity for this year? And you can drop that in the chat because I want to read what you all are doing. Yes, Janice, I love to see the figure four. It's great. Oh, good, May. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Walk every day, hike all 41 NC State parks this year. Oh, I love it. Walking much more. Yes, 10K steps a day. Absolutely, Andrea. Walk 30 minutes a day. Yes. And Janice just dropped the link in there, nc100miles.org. 40-minute walk a day. I exercise a lot, walk twice a week, two gentle fitness classes, yoga, tai chi. I like to move. I love that. And not this year, but I try to walk more, 3 times per week, 4 miles each time. And that's awesome. Hike every weekend. Love that. And you have to, it's so important to, set, goals and things like that. So I'm loving the fact that you all have goals when it comes to your physical activity. And the part that I love is that everybody is not just talking about working out when it comes to just lifting weights. There's some variety in what you all are doing. And that is really the big part of it when we're talking about exercise versus movement, which we'll talk about later. Not overdoing working out and avoiding injuries. Super important, okay? Ah, definitely understand. So there's some barriers. Gotcha. Gotcha, Ann. And then Janice also dropped another link in there. Thank you, Janice, for the links and resources. And Janice is one of our wellness champions, so we absolutely love Janice. she's got a ton of resources. And so thank you all for, letting me know what your goals are. I think they are great. Um, and when it comes to goal setting, we always want to make sure that we're setting healthy goals, but we're actually making sure that they're measurable, they're specific, they're obtainable, they're realistic. And then they also have some type of time constraint. And that's always important. And then eventually, we want to, as we get to the end of our goals or as during it, we're seeing that things may not be working out the way we want them to. We want to be able to, evaluate and readjust them as needed. And so at NC State, we always want to be better than everybody else. So we just don't set smart goals here. We set smarter goals. And you see that I actually just ran through all those different areas of that parts of the acronym. And yeah, and so we have an example of that where this is a perfect example of what a smart goal looks like. I want to lose 15 pounds in 2 months in order to lower my blood pressure by eating healthy and meeting with a certified personal trainer every week. And I really love that goal. One of the things that I really like about it is that they incorporated the ideal of having somebody that's going to keep them accountable. And oftentimes we're missing that piece. So it's great to see, that component in it. So if there's like a family member or some type of support person when it comes to your goal, try to do so when it comes to incorporating that. So seek support, take one day at a time. Don't expect, the change to just happen because incorporate some type of physical activity within 1 week and get frustrated because your goal has not been met. Some of these things take time, so take it one day at a time. Some days you may not feel like doing whatever your perceived physical activity was. So it's okay, take your time. Pick an internal goal, so make sure that it's something that's close to home that resonates to you. um, I always kind of define that as always make sure that you remember what your why is. For me, it's making sure that I'm here, I'm around so that I can raise my two kids. Just came off paternity leave, so I have a baby boy at home, and I want to make sure that I'm around to see him grow up. So that's my internal why. And for you, it may be different. It may be grandchildren, it may be nieces and nephews, whatever it may be. Thank you, Janice. But make sure that it's something that your why is strong enough to push you towards your goal for you to keep reaching it. And that's what I would say. Keep a journal and make sure you're documenting how you're feeling. What changes have you seen in yourself? What are your barriers? So that way you can try to make sure you're tracking it. What are the things that are throwing you off your schedule? What did you do different today? And that's really important when you go back to look at what had maybe been that change that sparked that interest in you. So additional tips, some common fitness goals. People always want to get strong. They want to gain muscle, improve performance, reduce stress. For me and a lot of people, I would say reducing stress is one of the biggest ones. Why it's important to really engage in some type of physical activity or to move well, essentially, and manage mental health. COVID-19 has shown us that whenever your social well-being or community well-being is off, it plays a huge part because we have not been able to interact with people, with family as much, and it plays a huge part in just our overall well-being. And I think for many of us, we didn't know it was that as important until we could no longer do it. So yeah, sometimes we take things for granted, but we have to move past that and really notice that everything is important when it comes to our six elements of wellness. And then move more, move often throughout the day. That's one of the things. I know sometimes we have our fitness devices or whatnot, and they tell us to stand up or to move and get a certain amount of steps. Don't ignore it. It's okay. Just get up. Take a break. I know Apple Watch. Mine it charms me about 10 minutes to the hour if I have not stood up. So just know that sitting is the new smoking, and that's more so tied with sedentary lifestyles and how they essentially have the same consequences as not moving. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. And so just some additional tips. Learn to love the process. It's not going to be easy starting off. Anything that you try that's new or that you haven't done in a while, it's going to have a learning curve. If you haven't done it in a while, it may take a while for that muscle memory to kind of really get back intact to where you can just do it like it's normal and you're used to the intensity that comes with it. But give yourself time to really enjoy the process. Just like healing take process, so does learning to incorporate physical activity. Um, know that having slip ups is okay. Um, I slipped up this morning. I did not get up at 5 a.m. to go work out. That is my only time that I can do so. And I did not do it. So just know that it is okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just try the next day or, try later on if you have that opportunity to do so to try to hit your goal or whatever that might have been. Make sure that you're getting enough rest. That is key. It's great to, work out or incorporate some type of physical activity, but if you don't give your body time to heal and rejuvenate itself, it's not going to function. Essentially, if you're eating well and doing all those things, but you're not sleeping, your body, your metabolism is not going to be able to use that fuel that it needs to really develop the change you want to see. So make sure that you're getting rest. 7 to 9 hours may be challenging depending on what you have going on, but just work towards it. That's a whole goal in itself, sleep, as you learned in the previous session. And then remember that exercise and movement are not punishments for what you ate. I know a lot of times we try to punish ourselves because, oh my goodness, I just took in 2,000 calories in one meal. It's okay, but don't punish yourself when you go to work out by working out for 2 hours when your normal workout be 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So just kind of keep that in mind. And so just curious, I know that we all are adults with different layers of life that have been added to us. And so what are some of your barriers to exercise? I think Anne had put in the chat that she has back spasms. What are some other barriers that you may come across? Mm-mm-mm. Anybody want to come off mute and talk? I'm fine with that. Cold weather, May. I'm with you. I hate cold weather. Sorry, y'all. I'm not a fan. Both my gym, Pilates. Merit, definitely understand. That's hard. Monty's motivation. Ah, Susan, yeah. Oh, Susan, we are actually insulin pump buddies. So I'm right with you. A lot of people don't know that about me, but I do wear insulin pump since I was 11. Mental exhaustion and stress, even though I know I'll feel better. Absolutely, Janice. That's real. Thank you for the transparency. Working from home changes my old habits of going to, yep, absolutely. Yeah. And so I see that there are tons of barriers. And I think we all experience them, even to the point of where we feel as though going into like that motivation to where we feel as though we're just not in a good place for it. And it's okay to be that way. I always recommend that, if you're really feeling that way, try to take some time. I always say go back to your why you're doing this, to try to push yourself into it. What I would always recommend though is if you're a big social media person, and if you're like me, you follow a bunch of fitness people, stop doing it. Because then it's just going to sometimes depress you. Get something that motivates you, but also kind of prepare yourself. We already know during this time is the weather is going to be tricky. It's going to be cold some mornings. It's going to feel like spring some days because in North Carolina, if you don't like the season we're in, it will be different the next day. And so just try to look ahead. Make sure you prepare your clothing, especially if you're an avid runner and you want to walk outside. Make sure you're prepared for that so that you can actually enjoy the walk versus freezing during it by not having the proper clothing. So I would always just say dress for that. Mental exhaustion and stress. With that, I would say meditate before, Janice, if you can. Try to just do some deep breathing, deep stretching, and just try something different. If it's going to get to that point, so that way you actually feel better by doing it. So a really good warm up. And yeah, so here's some additional barriers. Just speaking about barriers, lack of time. As adults, we have new responsibilities or heavier responsibilities, and we just don't have the time to do so. Social influence, lack of energy, lack of motivation. Which let me see, who said lack of motivation? Monty said lack of motivation. Fear of injury, and fear of injury, that's a huge one. I know for a time I hurt my knee back in the day, and literally I had been scared to sprint since. And I was a track runner, believe it or not, but I've been scared to sprint. And so with that, one of the things that I had to learn was learning how to warm up properly, learning how to stretch properly, all those good things, and also learning how to cool down. So learning the components of a workout and how to really do that. And so though that will help you adjust to it because you're better prepared for it. Lack of skill, weather conditions, travel. We all kind of talked about those things, and then family obligations. So thank you all for sharing. I appreciate it. Um, some guidelines when it comes to successful physical activity. This is the CDC recommendation of 150 minutes of moderate physical activity per week or 75 minutes of vigorous activity. And so that's literally the golden standard. When it comes to that 150 minutes, if you can do more, that's great. But really, it's 150 minutes. That breaks down to 5 times a week, 30 minutes. So if you can find 30 minutes out your entire day, we have 24 hours. If you can find 30 of those minutes, and incorporate some type of physical activity, that is better than nothing. So just wanted to put that out there for you. Um, and then it also consists of 2 to 3 days of strength training, but 2 to 3 days of flexibility training. A lot of us forget to incorporate essentially that essential movement that makes us be able to really move. And so it's super important. And when I say move, I'm talking about just being able to do the everyday things that life possesses. So that flexibility training is key. It's not great to strengthen your muscles so much that they're not pliable, they don't move correctly, or you reduce your range of motion, that is not going to benefit you in any way. So it's super important for you to make sure you're incorporating that flexibility training. And you can always do that along with your regular training. So it's not like it's something additional, it's just another component of the workout. And so, movement versus exercise. Exercise is typically something that's planned, structured, and it's there for you to improve or maintain your current physical fitness. That's what exercise is. When it comes to movement, it can be anything. And so you'll notice that a lot of our language here at NC State, we base it around movement, and it's okay. Movement, one of the main reasons we do is because not everybody likes to bench press. Not everybody likes to go sprinting. Not everybody likes to do these things that are known as traditional exercise. And so with movement, it can be things like dancing. You can do yoga. You can do Tai Chi. You can do all these different things, but it's causing you to elevate your heart rate, which is giving you that good cardio benefit. And then additionally, you're also getting some strengthening involved too. So if you enjoy hiking, like Janice talked about, do those things. If you enjoy swimming, do those things. We want you to move your body. That's the biggest part of it, and it's going to have a similar benefit to it. Overall, we want you to have a better heart. When it comes to movement, better health. The way your metabolism works, the way your metabolism moves, how you handle food is all important. So that's why we use movement instead. So, what is your favorite way to move your body? Can you drop that in the chat for me? Yeah. Walk, hike, outdoor walking or hiking. Yeah. Line dancing. So I see a lot of people like to be outdoors. This is great. NK, is that line dancing indoors or outdoors? Do you prefer indoors, outdoors? Any kind of stretching. Love it, Aaron. That's me too. I'm a big fan of stretching. Movement along with music. You're relaxing. Bopping. Yeah. Good deal. And you can keep those coming. I'm gonna try to keep going as much as I can. And so the benefits of mindful movement, of course, you're going to have better physical health, which is what we want you to do, what I just kind of said, but better mood. Janice stated earlier that she'll know that she'll feel better afterwards. And so that's a huge part. You're going to feel better because those endorphins have been released. You've gotten a lot of that pent up energy out during your movement. You're going to sleep better. Your body's going to be more tired. So those extra calories that you took in, it's okay because you worked out, your body's going to use up that with its metabolism and then reduce stress. And I know that everybody kind of read the PowerPoint, but I just want to kind of highlight some key ones. But just an overall increase to your total well being in every facet of well being. And so the average working American is sedentary 9 hours per day out of the 24. And keep in mind, we're trying to sleep 7 to 9 hours. It's not great. That leaves us, if I do the maximum of that, we're sleeping 9 hours and we're sedentary 9 hours. That leaves us with about 6 hours of the day where we're not doing either. So it's huge. When it comes to sitting, hurting our health, it is huge. So our bodies were designed to move, not sit, and extended periods of time have been linked to the sedentary lifestyle of cancer, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, as well as premature death. So just want to, not scare anybody, but this thing is real. And that's why it's important for us to move. But I won't harp on that for too long. But next thing, come and talk about is building your own program. First, you want to assess your own fitness level because, you may be just beginning. Somebody else, may be like, oh, come work out with me. It's okay if, you go work out and it's not the best fit. You want to make sure that you figure out what's going to work best for you so that you can safely do this thing. You don't want to jump in and hurt yourself and then you have to start all the way over after you recover. And so your pulse rate before and after, immediately after walking 1 mile, you want to check that before and after. How long it takes to walk a mile, how long it takes you to run 1.5 miles. Don't judge me. My miles are pretty horrible. It takes me about 10 minutes to walk a mile. Sorry, Janice. But I'm not a long distance person. I can sprint all day, but when it comes to the miles, I've never been great. That's always caused me to lose my presidential fitness award in most cases. If everybody remembers that back in the day. Also, how many standard or modified push-ups can you do at one time? How far can you reach forward while in a seated position? I know everybody kind of remembers that test where you would stretch forward while you were kind of sitting on the ground with your legs straight, and that just kind of shows your flexibility. And then any other activities you can perform, don't give yourself a time limit. Do your thing, and track where you started and follow up within 4 to 6 weeks. And that's really going to give you the best indication of your fitness level and how you're improving. And so components of a well-rounded workout, or fitness, activity is going to consist of some type of cardio. Then you want to have some resistance-based training, and then flexibility and balance. You want to, and I like that flexibility and balance portion because a lot of times our bodies are not balanced on both sides, which can also lead to injury. So working towards balancing your whole physique, so that a way it can really support itself. And then often, I know, whenever we're developing workouts, sometimes we don't might not be familiar with the terminology. And so I just wanted to kind of run through this repetition. That's going to be literally one complete movement of a particular exercise. Most workouts will say, hey, do 10 bicep curls per set. And so that's literally saying, but they might say do 3 to 4 sets of 10 reps. And that's literally talking about what we're talking about. A set is that group of consistent repetitions within it. And so literally you're going to do one set of however many. They may say increase your weight as you're going through it, increase your resistance as you're going through it. And that's what they're talking about. So just know that one out of the set is a rep, and a set is your entire group of that movement. So just kind of keep that in mind. Your training intensity, that varies per person, but you want to think of it as your maximum effort and then break it down when it comes to lower intensity, moderate intensity, vigorous intensity. So kind of look at it that way. Um, Repetition tempo, that's going to be the speed of how fast you're doing the repetitions, and all depends on your goal too. If you're really trying to build endurance, those reps are going to be slower, and in some case, if you're trying to build endurance, the reps may be faster, but you may be doing a lot more. And then rest interviews is key, especially when it comes to keeping your heart rate elevated, but that's going to be how much time in between sets that you spend actually resting. Some people recommend 30 to 45 minutes, 30 to 45 seconds. Some people actually recommend longer than that, depending on the movement that you're actually doing. Um, so the components of workout, you want to have a warm up, a working session, and your cool down. These are essential. During that warm up period, that's going to be the biggest part where you're actually kind of getting your body warmed up. You're going to use this time to reduce injury, any type of soreness that you may have had from a previous workout. This is where you're going to kind of address some of those things. And what this does is really increase your blood flow during this time to prepare you for the next exercise that you're about to engage in. It's typically about 10 to 15 minutes before you actually work out. And, you may be stretching, you may be doing some light jumping jacks, some light cardio, some running in place, some crunching, for example. You'll see some people that do walking, or you see them doing the Stairmaster, as far as using the cardio equipment. And then more commonly that you've seen people use a lot of foam rolling to really get deep down in the muscles, which is something I enjoy. But it is not limited to these things. If you like to do something else, that's fine. Just long as you're doing a warm up, that's what we want you to do. Components of the workout: continue, work. This is really the core workout. So whatever you're trying to work on or engage or improve during this time, this is where a majority of that strength and endurance is going to come from during this part. And this is usually about typically 30 to 45 minutes. Well, I know that may be short for some, that may be long for others, at least if you're starting off. But it's really what your goal is and what you have time for. But just know that 30 to 45 minutes is essentially the starting point, I should say. Or, if you're trying to maintain, this is a good maintaining point. This is too short for you, but you're finding that you're having reduced time. You might want to really intensify your workout so that a way that 30 to 45 minutes is super effective. And so this can consist of resistance training, body weights is considered, that, as well as weighted movements, cardio, endurance, plyometrics, yoga, any of those things. That's really going to be work. Um, a lot of individuals don't know that yoga is as challenging as it is when it comes to really focusing your breath and moving through your body for its true benefit. And it's a serious workout, especially if you have a great instructor to follow. So yeah, try new things. It's great. Speed, agility, quickness can also be part of that working portion. So the cool down, love the cool down, really important as well, because allows your heart time to rest and go back to its normal function with your whole body. This is typically about 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes this is very low intensity cardio with some dynamic and some static stretching, or active stretching, as some people may say. And so, prioritizing, making time. What tips do you use to add more movement into your day? Do you kind of set your day up so that you can move more? How do you build those breaks in? I'm curious. And you can drop it in the chat, or you can come off on mute. Very good. I'm opposite no speed, but endurance gotcha. Their last finish is greater than did not finish, which Trump's did not start. Very good, Janice. I like that. Walking dogs. Yes, because the dogs have to be walked anyway. Said I will get up every hour and walk around our street once. That hasn't happened. It's all good. It's all good. Put it in the calendar, though it always, but that doesn't always mean I follow it. I understand. Google Chrome reminders to get up every couple hours. I like that. Schedule my week/daily schedule, include exact. I love that, Brandy. That's some structure. That's some serious structure. Brandy said she is scheduling her week, building into her calendar, and actually putting exactly what exercises are in there, what she would do, and where she will do them. Kettlebell while on a Zoom call. That's great. Gotcha. All right. Thank you, Janice. See people using an alarm to get up hourly, pick up the mail. Yeah, absolute park further away. And that's really part of that whole kind of saluted Genesis concept where essentially you're building in movement by things that you do already. You just kind of increase the need for you having to move. So I love that. Thank you all for sharing. So tips for an active lifestyle while at home or work. Keep moving throughout the day. Set breaks, as you all have kind of stated. Put up build into your calendar, and away from your at home working area. Take stress breaks and movement breaks. We don't want you to sit for too long, and so that kind of goes without saying what we just talked about. And some exercises. Just kind of want to give you some tidbits. Exercises while you sit, straight leg toe points. That's something that you can really do. Kind of activates the calves, and you can even use it if you're activating your quadriceps as well. If you're really extending your leg, and I would say even do leg curls if possible at your desk in leg extensions to add to that straight leg toe point. Shoulder shrugs. Shoulder shrugs are great whenever you're really squeezing. And I would say try to bring your traps up to your ears. That's the best way to think about it. Hold it for 2 to 3 seconds and then relax. And if you want to get more into it, do that same squeeze, but then actually roll your traps backwards. That it hits them even more. And you'll notice that's actually a really good stress reliever too. Um, Desk squats, that's literally holding onto your desk and doing a squat. Um, and I know my coworkers and I used to do this all the time, my previous job, and we would literally just say, "Hey, squat break," and just do them. And it doesn't take long. You can do it within a minute. So, hey, just keep that in mind. Chair swivel, as you see, that's kind of her doing it in the picture. One of the things I would say is just make sure that you're really contracting your core and your obliques to really engage that movement. Some additional things we just kind of did these. So she's pictured doing a tricep stretch in the GIF, but you can always do the shoulder stretch, what we also did. We did the arm over the chest. You can always do the chest stretch, which is really just pulling back, stretching your chest out. You can do the glute stretch. We kind of did that today when we hinged at our hip and had our leg up. Hamstring stretch, super important. That's literally just, standing up, touching your toes or touching your ankles, whatever you're able to touch, and then work your way further down. And then seated spinal twist is also another good one. And so that's literally just kind of turning. And if you're locked up, you will hear your back pop in most cases. So, that's something that you can easily do. Um, Something that's also important for you to move well is making sure that you're sitting properly when it comes to working. And so, this is something from our ergonomics group. They have this also posted on their website. But you want to make sure your monitor is at eye level. And then you'll see that no more than a maximum of 40 degrees going down as far as your line of sight. Make sure that your shoulders relax in your chair. Make sure that your keyboard is elbow height. So you make sure your elbows are not bent more than 90 degrees, as you see in the picture. And then make sure that your seat is adjusted to support your lower back and your feet are flat on the floor. And I always say this back support is really really vital because you want to make sure that it supports that curvature of your back. Some people have more curve, some people have less curve, but make sure that you're really supported in your chair because you're sitting in it constantly, and we don't want that to add to any spine deterioration or anything like that. So if you want more consultation, reach out to the NC State ergonomics team. They're a great group that can really give you more information on that, or visit your home office store where they can absolutely tell you more about what products they have. And so lastly, want to talk about these well-rec resources that we have, especially well-rec at home. That was something that we launched during COVID-19, where we want to make sure that we could support our entire Wolfpack community during that time, although our facility was shut down. But the great part is that we left it up because we wanted you to have access to it. And so with that, we have wellness tips up there. We have outdoor adventure tips. We even have like our well rec on demand, which is going to be a lot of our fitness trainers doing different exercises and workouts too. And it's completely free to you. And this is based on our YouTube page, but it's easier to always get there by visiting wellrec.ncsu.edu. And you can just scroll down on the page and you'll see it. And so, going from think to do, this is a picture of the new Wellness and Recreation Center. And it has literally connected the entire complex. So, from the old Carmichael facility, which you'll see pictured on the left, and then the very back, which you'll see is the Recreation Center. And they are now connected, and it's over combined 55,000 square feet now. So, it's a massive beauty. And I forgot to include that includes our outdoor strength center, which is something we also created in light of COVID-19. And so we have tons of areas for you to work out in. And you'll see in the pictures that everything is spaced out to make sure that it's a minimum of 6 feet or more for your safety, and even interacting with other while they're working out. So just want to put that out there. There is personal training options available during that. You'll see that our personal trainer are wearing masks as well as participants, and even in classes they have masks on. And there's circles on our outdoor Miller fields to make sure that people are spaced out appropriately. And so, yeah, we have in person, outdoor, and virtual training available, as well as fitness assessments. And so those also happen. But yeah, these are really more images of what's happening with our facility. At this bottom picture, that's going to be our strength center at the very bottom of the rec center. And then at the very top floor, the fourth floor, that's where you're going to kind of see like our ninja kind of workout area, which is really cool. And then you'll see where you see that wolf pack. It's kind of cut off. It starts with the L and F. That's actually turf. And so we have some turf areas built in as well as like a turf ramp for people to sprint up. And then we have an outdoor center, which is pictured later. And so additionally, we have some small group and group fitness trainings available. Some of the unique formats are like Strong Her, which is more of our female geared workout type program, but we also have premier boxing, advanced boxing, powerlifting, Olympic lifting. I know that we actually had a powerlifting competition, which was kind of cool and people could enter it, and then advanced yoga. And then group fitness, we have more than 95 plus fitness classes per week. Some of those are offered virtual on our WellRec at Home platform, and then some of those are in person. So whatever kind of fits you or fits your need, they are available to you, and they are completely free with a membership. So this is not an additional cost. This is something that's already available to you if you're a member of Wellness and Recreation. And so, lastly, what is one step that you can take to include more movement into your week? Or that you, after hearing this presentation, what's something that you might want to include in your week? Be more active at my desk. Absolutely, Brandon. That's something we often don't take advantage of. Andrea, daily desk stretching. Yes, regular stretching throughout the day. Absolutely. Yeah. And with stretching, that's something. Have dumbbells in the office or use their at breaks. Absolutely, Reginald. Susan's going to try to incorporate a lot of her digital workout because she has an entire library, especially when it's raining. Yeah. And stretching, even if you're not, able to do physical activity, stretch. It's there. It's easy. It's something that you don't need other things to do. So yeah, absolutely. I don't measure progress, write goals. Maybe that would help. Absolutely, and that way you can really see how you progress. Very good. Thank you all for sharing. So here's some resources additionally where these are just direct links. So we've got some of our ACE exercise database, which all of our personal trainers are ACE certified, and so this is literally exercise database of everything that they've kind of developed, the benefits of it, what it's geared towards. Interval pro timer, so that's more likely an app that you can use. The mental health benefits of physical activity, that's a great read. Ergonomics guide, where I was talking about making sure that your chair versus your desk, computer, whatever your monitor is, that's all there for you. American Health Association benefits and more guys there, and then physical activity guys, probably from the CDC, is going to be listed there. And then just direct links to WellRec at Home as well as our WellRec personal training. So I hope that you all enjoyed today's session. I want to allow some time for questions, if that's what we would like to do. But I am here for you all, and don't feel like you can't email us or contact us. Our information is right there. So, and I'll type it in chat too. But it's wellrec.wellnessoutreach at ncsu.edu, and that's going to be our whole outreach group, which is this is led by. And so we are essentially the wellness group that drives a lot of these presentations, education sessions, and things like that. But we connect everybody's resources together in this melting pot of wellness and recreation.
And I want to take a quick second, since you guys are very interested in wellness, if you attended this session, excuse me, to go ahead and plug our upcoming partnership with Wellness and Recreation on wellness in the workplace. So for those of us who are working from home, I definitely am. A few tips for how to create a better mindset, how to balance your, create a work-life balance, limit screen time when you spend all day on a screen, etc. So you guys should be seeing those in your email inboxes soon, but they will be starting. I believe the first one is March 3rd, and this is another lunchtime series.
Well, thank you, Nikki. Thank you. Absolutely. I'm glad. I'm so glad. You're welcome. And Susan, you sent me a question. Let me make sure I save it.
I can ask you.
Okay.
The rest of the people won't care about this, but how on earth do you get up at 5 a.m. and deal with your?
Oh my goodness, it's a stretch, but literally, like I said, my why, I have to be better. Like I know something that was new this year I've never dealt with is blood pressure. And so I was like, oh yeah, this has got to change. And I had been sedentary for quite a bit. And I was somebody that was always an active mover. And I was like, I've got to be there for my family. Diabetes is already enough. And so to add something on top of that, I was like, I got to do it.
More specifically, I mean, you get up at like 4 and
Yeah,
reset.
I get up about 4:20, and then 4:20, I might have some coffee if I need some extra push to give me some energy, and then I'll just literally go to the gym. I'll make sure I have in mind what I want to do before I get there. And most of the time, when you're there that early, there's not a lot of people, and so you like the equipment that you want to use is there for you.
I mean, what do you do with your pump?
Oh, okay. So what I do with my pump. So I'm not sure what insulin pump you use. I use the tandem pump, and one of the cooler features that they've done more recently is that it syncs with Dexcom, and so my CGM tells me my numbers and all that. But they have a new feature where you actually can go from sleeping. So it has two activity modes. It has a sleeping mode, which keeps your range tighter while you sleep, but make sure you don't drop down too low. And then it has an exercise mode.
Oh, okay.
And so I literally press exercise mode and it makes sure it doesn't give me for some, I don't know how it does it, but it calculates so it does not give me like pseudo highs. So it calculates for the highs, but it also keeps me in range enough to where I'm not dropping low.
Okay, that's cool. I have to adjust my basal rate. I can't
Yeah.
use the target rate with my sensor, so I have
Yeah.
to plan ahead a little bit. But okay, that's cool. Thanks.
Yeah. So that's what I would say. Just reduce your basal rate. And then if you notice that you're dropping down too fast, always, reduce it more, but just check and kind of play with it. So it may take you about 10 workouts to really get it where you want it to be. But I would say just do small adjustments first as you're doing it. Like even suspend your pump. If you're doing cardio, absolutely suspend your pump. So that way you're not dropping low because it uses so many carbs.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely, Ann. Good, Brandy. I'm glad you enjoyed the series. Yeah. What time do you go to bed? I am not getting enough sleep. We have a newborn, so I'm absolutely not getting enough sleep. He eats every 2 hours and 45 minutes on the dot. And so, yeah, no sleep for daddy.
I have no excuse anymore. Away all my excuses. I don't even have a pet.
Oh my goodness.
Get up and move.
Yeah, and it's even worse when I have to feed him every 2 hours and 45 minutes. And then we have a 4-year-old that is upset because he's sleeping in the bed with us or sleeping near us in our room. So she wants to get up and come to our room. Like, Daddy, can you walk me back to bed or put covers on me? And it's like, just go to bed. So yeah. Thank you, Ed. I try to be positive. That's all we can do, right? Is it Ava or Eva? I want to say it's Eva. Thank you, Eva. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Oh, very good. Yes. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. I have my personal email too, which is TALEE@ncsu.edu. And so if you have any questions directly, you want to reach out to me. Susan, if you want to talk more, feel free. And I can also like share with you what my endocrinologist kind of gave me about working out too.
All right, well, we will go ahead and wrap up here and we will get the recordings and the presentations out to you and everyone else who registered shortly. Thank you again on behalf of the NC State Alumni Association and NC